Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us for another episode in the Local Governance and Community Development series here on the Serenity Resource Connector. I'm your host, Winsome Sharia Witter, and we are going to continue the discussions with the Clarendon Municipal Corporation as we learn more about what it is that they do there, why they do what they do, and how you can be a part of what is happening there in terms of understanding the services, how you go about accessing the services. And we allow you to ask your questions to seek clarity on what we discuss here. We do this every fourth Thursday until December 2022. And if you have missed the previous episode, you want to go back, there is a playlist there. We have spoken to a number of departments before. Last month, we talked to the disaster preparedness coordinator for the parish of Clarendon. You want to go back and check that out based on what's happening in the Caribbean right now. So do check that out, and we will continue with this series here in this space. So help me make welcome for this episode Clevon Watson, Deputy Superintendent for the Roads and Works Department. Yes, that's the discussion we're going to be having here in this space. Roads and Works Department. Welcome, Anne-Marie, here to learn again tonight. I hope you all have your notepads out. Greetings. Welcome to the Serenity Resource Connector space, Clevon. Oh, you were muted just now.
Oh, thank you for having me, and welcome to all
Pleasure.
your viewers.
All right. Awesome. All right. So let's start, Clevin, by sharing with the viewers the primary objective of the Roads and Works Department.
Okay. The Road and Works Department is basically the engineering arm of the corporation, and its main objective is to facilitate the efficient delivery of service to the general public in relation to development and maintenance of the parish's parochial infrastructure and public amenities, including minor water supply, transportation centers, municipal buildings, and also provide technical expertise in regulating development within the parish.
Quite a bit. So,
Yes.
yes. And we know that the parish is not very small. So,
No.
what's a team like there at the Roads and Works Department?
Well, the team is headed by the Superintendent of Road and Works, also referred to as the Chief Engineering Officer. He's the Chief Technical Officer and advisor to council in relation to parochial roads and works. He reports to council on works, repairs, or alterations required to be done on any of the roads, buildings, or works that comes under our responsibility within the parish. He's also responsible for examining and reviewing development plans and subdivisions and submit to council the appropriate recommendations for sale, among other responsibilities.
Okay, and where do you fall in the team? Do you have a specific portfolio that you are responsible for as the deputy superintendent?
Yes. My role here as a deputy soup is basically for inspection of building plans, subdivision plans. We carry out building projects for the parish and also infrastructure projects. That's the rehabilitation of roadways, drains, and any other duties assigned by the superintendent.
That's a lot of work. Do you have
And then some.
oh yes. Do you have others that work alongside you in terms of that specific area?
Yes. So we have a set of team, one for the roads, for road works, and one for building works. We have a building officer who is responsible for the inspection of building plans and the site visit for building inspections. We have assistants who roads, the road related inspections, assistant to building that also deals with the inspection of buildings. We have works overseers, we have project officers, and the superintendent of minor water supplies, along with the other support staff within the department.
Okay, still sounds like a very small team. based on what is
Yes.
happening in terms of the level of development that's happening in the parish. That's first
Yes, we try
small
our
key.
best. We try our best though.
All right, we need to have a discussion at the higher level to see what can be done about that. All right, so let's delve into the specific roles and responsibilities, starting with building and planning. We had a
Mhm.
discussion with the planning department a couple episodes ago, about 2 months or so ago, where we had started looking at building permits and we talked about what's required for a building permit and all those good stuff, the cost and all of that, and why we really need to secure a building permit. So now
Mhm.
let's look at the building approval process. Or
Okay.
before we even get there, what's the communication like between the roads and works department and the planning department after the permit stage? How that does that filter into the approval process? And then we take it from there.
Okay. Okay. Well, the road and works department works very closely with the plan department. We form both departments form part of the our farms the planning and development section of the corporation. After the permits are granted by the planning department after our monthly planning meetings, the applicants usually reach out to the building department for their inspections for their building before any construction start to take place. Under normal circumstances, persons like going through NHT or any other funding agencies would require building inspection from the department before the release of certain funds. So the building inspection is very important.
Okay. All right. There's this aspect of the process referred to as drawings. What are the criteria for drawings?
Well, all right. When the before the plan even reaches to the planning meeting, you'd have to visit the road and works department with the drawings for us to assess it. We do a pre-assessment to ensure that it meets the criteria of the parish council building act. What we look for on the building plans, they must possess a number of things before it can be approved. These include location map. Um, this should be done at a required scale, showing where the development will be located in relation to surrounding areas. There's also a site plan that shows how the building would be situated on the land. It shows the setback of the proposed building from the property boundary, how the site will be accessed, and the setback of the proposed building from the center line of the roadway. The site plan also shows the length and bearing of the boundaries and also any drainage feature to be shown on the site. That includes the location of the final disposal system if you're using an on-site sewage system, and also all of the drainage features to be on the site. We also have the construction drawings, which consist of floor plans. This shows the entire floor layout of the proposed building. This includes like the size and the use of all the rooms within the proposed buildings, openings, doorways, windows, etc. The plan should also consist of a foundation plan showing all the structural members such as stiffeners and columns. Should consist of a roof plan showing all structural members, size and spacing of same, type of roof, pitch and drainage. Should also show an electrical plan which shows the electrical layout of all components, including outlets, switches, lighting fixtures, and so on. It should also consist of a section, which is where the building is cut on the plan along the longitudinal section and one cross section. It shows the critical parts of the building, such as the finished floor levels and the ground floor levels. The plan should also consist of elevations. This basically shows what the building would look like when it is completed. It shows all the roofs, all the exterior walls and final finishes, and all the elevations of the building. should consist of structural details, include details of our structural components, foundations, columns, beams, footings, lintels, stiffeners, staircase plan, roof vent, drainage detail must also be included. This include detail for like manholes, trap gully basins, grease traps, septic tanks, and the final disposal point, whether it be evapotranspiration bed or a reed bed. Most persons in the parish who have submitted plans recently would have known that we have moved away from primary sewage treatment. We are now at the tertiary stage due to the groundwater levels. So we're no longer using like absorption pits or tile field on building plans. We're mostly using tertiary treatment systems, and those are the evap bed or the reed bed. The plan should also consist of a drainage plan. This shows the existing and proposed stormwater drainage and plumbing layout within the house, or the building, sorry. The position of existing and proposed features such as sanitary drains, septic tanks, absorption pit, soakaway pit, tile field. Like I said, is no longer being used. Surface and stormwater collection, and containment and final disposal point. And that's what. And if you satisfy all of these criteria, there shouldn't be any issue in your plan being approved.
All right.
Mm.
So that's the approval process. Quite a bit to take care of, and that is why you really need a technical department to go
Yes,
into
and
all of.
yes, we normally advise persons though, even before you draw the plan, you can seek the assistance or call into the department, and we'll gladly assist you in preparing the plans in terms of offering technical advice.
Awesome. So, in terms of someone who's not familiar with, who would they go to get the plan done again?
Normally, an architect or a registered draftsman.
Okay, and you would have a list of local individuals, entities.
Yes, I think they're with the planning department.
Are beautiful. All right, you heard that. You can check with the planning department for a list if you don't know where to find one. All right, but at what points of the construction process are the buildings inspected?
Well, okay. Inspections of buildings are carried out at various stages of the development. At the setting out stage, where the land is cleared and the profile boards are erected, we do an inspection there. At the excavation stage, where the foundation trenches have been dug, and where the reinforcement have been placed, as seen in the photos in the foundation, we normally inspect at that stage. Or if you're carrying out a slab roof, we normally inspect it while the steels are laid out and before the concrete is actually poured.
Okay, so is there a final inspection after the completion of the construction?
Well, well, yes, there should be a final inspection when everything is done with, where we will be issued with an occupancy certificate. But we're
You
still
said should be.
finalizing that aspect. Should be. We're still finalizing that aspect. A lot of municipalities does not practice. They do not practice that aspect of the inspection process. But we do monitor development right through. An officer might show up on site and announce at any point during the development to ensure conformity to what was approved.
Okay. All right. So that's the building, but we also deal with development, and I'm taking that development has to do with the subdivisions. Is that what you refer to as development, or there are
Yes,
different types?
we do deal with subdivisions. Subdivisions, we deal with the infrastructural aspect at the department. At Road and Works, we deal with the infrastructural aspect of subdivision. This is where we inspect the proposed infrastructure within the subdivisions, such as the roads, the drains, to make sure so they're adequate for that particular development. We recommend on subdivisions the proposed setbacks for the development. Um, one typical example is for like Longville Park, where um, the proposed setback for that particular scheme is different than that of, let's say, a Mineral Heights. So depending on the type of subdivision, the size of the lots, we would recommend a particular setback, and this form part of the um the conditions, and also form is also placed on the title as a legal thing.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So, can residents object to a building or subdivision approval? And if yes, on what grounds? And what is the procedure for doing so?
Okay, yes. Under the Parish Council Building Act, it makes provision for persons wishing to object to the erection of any building to do so within 14 days of the posting of the intention to build notice on the property. Normally, when you submit your plan, you're issued a intention to build notice to be placed in a conspicuous place on the property to be developed. So any person, any interested person who has an objection to that development can do so within 14 days, put it in writing to the CEO, stating the grounds of the objection. And upon receiving the written objection, the council shall, probably within 7 days, I think, cause the applicant and the objecting party to meet to hear and determine the issue.
What
For subdivisions, though, sorry,
for
for
subdivision?
subdivision, yes,
Okay.
we rarely encounter objections. Normally, if we do, it's like family members are in some have to do with some land dispute. But nevertheless, in situation does arise where persons are in objection of a subdivision, the protocol remains the same, where they put it in writing to the corporation, and then we'll do the necessary investigations to try and remedy the situation.
Okay. When it comes on to encroachment, what's the process to deal with that?
Well, all right. Encroachment. If you're referring to encroachment on parochial roads, the Parochial Roads Act speaks to that. Encroachment is where persons might place or cause anything to overhang or be placed on a parochial roadway without permission of the council. This happens a lot in a lot of the developments where persons dump building materials on the roadways, which constitute a breach, and it might be served an enforcement notice for this. So if any person is found guilty of encroaching on the parochial roadway, is served a notice for them to remove the encroachment within a certain period, or the council can go in and remove that encroachment at a cost to the person who caused the encroachment. So
Okay.
it's yes.
We're going to go into parochial roads in a little while, but for like a Longville Park, would those roads be considered parochial or no?
Um, it will be at
Okay.
present. All right, at present, not all the roads in Longville Park are turned over to the council as yet. I think Ms. Thompson, the director of planning, spoke on this. And normally, when an entity like National Housing Trust does a scheme, after the infrastructure work is completed and is found to be satisfactory by the superintendent of road and works, that those infrastructure is turned over to the corporation for maintenance.
Okay.
However, if based on inspection it is found to be unsatisfactory, the council will not take over until the the developer, who is NHT or any other developer, brings the infrastructure up to a satisfactory standard. So to date, to the best of my knowledge, Longville Park is not fully taken over by the corporation.
Oh, very
Yes.
interesting to note.
Yes.
Right.
But we do certain works in the area depending on the nature. But like I said before, it's not fully taken over by the corporation.
Okay. I'm sure that there are many cases of encroachment in the Longville Park area as it relates to building material.
Yes, there is. We've actually done a number of enforcement programs within Longville Park. Serve a lot of encroachment notices and ask persons to remove. And some do, but after a period, they normally place back the material on the roadway. But normally, if officers are in the area carrying out their daily duties and identify cases where persons are even mixing concrete on the road or dumping building material on the roadway, we normally advise persons to move it with them by a certain time, or we'll come back and serve the notice. And if persons refuse, then we'll take it up ourselves.
As in, take up the material?
Yes, and dump it on their property.
Okay, and if there is recurrence after that has
Mm.
been done?
Well, they serve the notice again.
So you just keep
Yeah.
serving notice, nothing else?
Yes. Well, if it's a case where we cannot move it, because normally the court gives us the authority to move it at a cost to the person. So if they keep on repeating that, it's going to cost them.
Okay, so they're
Yes.
actually charged when you.
Yes, they're charged.
Okay,
If we
okay,
move it, if we remove the encroachment, the offender is normally charged. The
all
council
right,
normally, yes, seeks reimbursement from them.
all right. No, now we understand clear. All right, so stop notice, nuisance notice. Tell us a little more about those. When do we
Okay.
use them?
All right then. Stop a nuisance notice. Stop notice. If a building or any development is being done contrary to what was approved, we normally go in and serve a stop notice and ask them to revert to what was approved. Um, Typically the same for enforcement notice, nuisance notice. We normally serve these in situations where things become a public nuisance, like derelict building within a community. We normally serve a nuisance notice on the owner of the building or the owner of the property to have the building removed as it constitutes a nuisance to the public. Um, so in those cases, those notices are served.
Okay. How about those overgrown, or should I say, mini forests? Uh, those properties that remain unkept for extended periods.
That constitutes a nuisance. We're having a lot of those in the parish. The difficulty we face is identifying some of these owners. Um, I think the CEO would speak best to this as it relates. We do not have a budget to bush persons' properties. So once we can identify the owners, we normally serve them a notice or give them a call and ask them to bush their properties. But the difficulty we're facing is that a lot of these property owners reside overseas, and
Right.
there are no, like, there's nobody taking care of the land. So it's very difficult for us to bush these properties.
Okay. All right. And Maurice, thanking you for the information. The drains are crying out for justice. That's the Longville Park. And I'm sure there are a number of other communities with similar challenges. Welcome, Michael Thomas, Millicent Johnson. Thank you so much for joining and registering your presence. Appreciated. All right, let's continue. Is there a process for regular maintenance of the corporation's buildings and properties? We had a discussion with the commercial services department earlier where you have a long list of properties belonging to the corporation that requires maintenance.
Yes. Well, okay. We have yes, we do have maintenance schedule for all our buildings and our properties. Maintenance in the form of pushing, like for our cemeteries and our markets, cutting and beautification of our parks. I see most of our parks, like especially two of them at Glenmuir Road and at the Mineralized Runabout, being used a lot for wedding photos. So we maintain those. On a monthly basis, and we carry out general maintenance of all the infirmaries, all our markets, um, the drop-in centers, the sanitary conveniences all over the parish. Yes, we do have a general maintenance plan for those, whether it be electrical and plumbing.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you for joining us, Miss Lawson, and always coming with the good questions and recommendations. What about putting up a for sale sign on the unclaimed properties? That may help you locate the owners quickly. I strongly agree with this.
Well, we look like we need to look into that strategy.
Oh, yes. Someone will make
Thank
a
you, Ramona.
call to those overseas owners to
Yes,
find
thank
out
you,
from
Ramona.
them. All right.
Yes.
So taking notes, taking notes. All right. Thank you, Ramona, for leading the charge. We usually invite recommendations. That's one of the reasons why we're here. Thank you so much for that. All right. All right. Let's move into another ticklish area, roads.
Roads.
What are the roles and responsibilities of the Roads and Works Department as it relates to roads?
Well, all right. The Road and Work Department, as the name suggests, we are responsible for the maintenance of the parochial road network within the parish. Maintenance in the terms of whether it be total road rehabilitation or patching of roadways. Um, Also, with that, we are responsible for the construction and maintenance of retaining structures along these roadways. This could be in the form of U drain, cleaning of U drain, V drain, side drains, earth drains. Um, yes, and so we some difficulties here. Sorry. Okay. So as it relates to the construction or rehabilitation of roads, rather, the process normally involves like the requests by councillors or MPs, minister or state agency. These requests are directed to the CEO. Um, Requests are forwarded to the superintendent of road and works for his action. We normally carry out our inspections and do the appropriate design and prepare the bill of quantities and our reports to be sent to the CEO. The CEO would then forward same to the relevant committee meeting for approval. Once we receive approval, we normally start the procurement process where we get material or services from the private sector and carry out the implementation of the works, whether it be road work or other retaining wall, drains, and so forth.
Okay. What about traffic management?
Yes.
Here we go. Traffic management.
Well, the department, we fabricate, supply, and install street names, street signs on our roadways within the parish. These include like stop signs and even school zone signs. We are also responsible for the installation of like traffic calming measures as seen in the photos, where we install speed bumps if requested. Normally, we receive requests from councillors, community groups, and we would go in and do our inspections and do our investigations. And if the road is suitable, we install these to ensure the safety within our communities.
Okay. One of the regular questions is the process for getting these signs done. So it's worth repeating in
Yes.
terms of how does the community engage to get these signs.
Okay. One, you can go through your local political representative and request like street signs. We'll do the requisite investigation. If the street names like if there was an existing street name, then we have no problem in replacing the sign. But if it's a new street, you need to do a petition to the council. We'll do the necessary investigation, and once all the factors are satisfied, we'll procure the sign and install the sign. For like school zones, we normally receive calls from schools requesting the same or through the counselors, and we do our investigation. And once it deems necessary, we'll procure and install the signs also.
All right. Just y'all taking notes. All right. This one is usually the commercial services. Not sure if you are able to take this one. How can you help?
The stray
All right,
dogs.
Miss Francis is here, so you can answer this one, Miss Francis. How can you help Longville Park with the stray dogs, please?
Wow, that's a difficult one.
Miss Francis, go ahead and respond in the comments to that one. Happy to have you.
Mhm.
Oh yes, indeed, a lot of work that the public don't know much about, and that's why we're here to share some more about what the municipal corporation through the different departments have been doing. And commercial services came on, and there was a lot of commendation going around for the commercial services, but I'm sure there are some things that the roads and works department have been doing that's not so obvious to most of the citizens. But let's see how best we can shed some light on some of these additional things that you have been doing there. All right, water supply. What's the responsibility of roads and works as it relates to water supply?
Okay. The there's the minor water supplies department within the road and works department is responsible for the monitoring and maintenance of all the springs and catchment tanks within the parish that are not managed by the National Water Commission, while ensuring that the supply is safe for human consumption and as required by the Ministry of Health. The parish has 45 systems, the most active of which being Smithville in the Thompson Division, Smithville Spring. The supplies over 100 households with potable water. We have the Reckford or Bonnick Spring in Kellis Division, supplying over 70 households with potable water. We have the Grantham system in the Frankfield Division, supplying over 30 households with potable water. And we also have the Janzal system. This supplies over 50 households with potable water. The department, the minor water supplies department also is responsible for the trucking of water to drought-stricken areas in the parish, but we mainly truck to areas that are serviced by the minor water systems and not necessarily those serviced by the National Water Commission. They do their own trucking.
All right. So you're saying for those areas serviced by the NWC, if there's a lock
Lock off.
off, then they are
Yes.
responsible for trucking to those specific areas. So the municipal
Correct.
corporation only trucks water to those areas that are served by the minor water supply systems.
Yes.
All right. All right. Let's All right, waiting for a response from Ms. Francis on those comments there. Very informative, Mr. Watson. I can see major improvements as it relates to taxis speeding along the Georges Street, Jackson Street corridor. All right, that's great, Marlon. Thanks for that observation.
Come
Yes.
on. We installed some speed bumps there recently.
Ah, all right, that will help.
Yes. Mhm.
Let's see this one from Ms. Tomlinson. You have done several assessments of drains in Longville Park. What is the timeline for replacing the drain covers? Longville Park is exposed to the sea air and the road rapidly.
Mm. Okay. As stated before, it depends on where in Longville Park. We've had several meetings with the National Housing Trust as it relates to these. We've actually went in and did some of the drain covers from our own source. Currently, the NHT is doing some repair works within the scheme, and I'm sure that this involves the replacement of the drain covers. Upon inspection, we realized that the original ones were not suitable for the area. This was expressed to the technical team at the NHT, and I think they're working on it now, where they are planning on replacing those because it's a requirement for the roads to be handed over to us. So those will have to be replaced. But we do go in from time to time and assist where we can, as provided that the funds are available to do so. But we have changed out a few in Longville Park so far.
The covers are metal.
Yes, it's like gratings.
Okay.
Yes, the metal gratings that goes across the road. You're
All
aware of that.
right. All right. So you're working with the NHT to get that
Yes.
resolved. All right. So Lady Tomlinson and the rest of the CDC exec there in Longville Park, you know where you need to write your NHT and copy it to municipal corporation so you can get some traction on that. All right. So there's a discussion going on in the comments about the pound. So we are going to take that, get some clarity on that because there is a real challenge as it relates to the animals because there's a suggestion about taking these stray animals to the pound, but some of these stray animals, based on the reports that have been coming in, there's an ongoing for the past maybe 3 years at the PDC meeting recurring. You have a report of some stray dogs eating the animals around Simon, I think it is, around that side. That's a real challenge there. So that's an area that some additional attention need to be placed on. What entities need to collaborate to get that matter addressed? Because the residents not able to catch some of these stray dogs, dangerous.
To understand.
Right. All right. So, but that's something that we look into to see how best we can have it addressed.
Mhm.
Thank you for bringing it up, Lady Eva. All right. So let's talk about some of the additional things that's been taking place there, the success stories that's coming out of the road and work department. Let's start
Okay.
with rehabilitation, the
Okay.
roadways.
Okay. On an annual basis, we try our best to rehabilitate about approximately 18 kilometers of road um, annually. We have 22 parish council divisions, and each councillor is gets a road allocation, a road rehabilitation allocation twice for the financial year. So we try our best to do as much as we can, but it's a lot of roads. I think Clarendon has approximately 1,200 kilometers of parochial roadways. That's a
Wow.
lot. Jamaica is 234 kilometers long, so use that as a marker. So we try to do as much as we can. So we aim for approximately 18 kilometers every year. Um, other projects that we've been working on over the years, we've constructed a water shop in Penance
Before you
for
move to
those
the water,
persons.
before you move to the water shop, as it
Mm,
relates to the roadways, some of those that I'm seeing because they have the councillors sharing what they're doing in their division. I know that up by I think it's Thompson Town division,
yes,
right down by Keys, a lot of
yes,
work been taking
right
place there for
across the
this roadway.
parish. Because even for those that you're seeing now, these are I think these are four out by Palmer's Cross Division, and this is what the corporation is moving towards, more using more of asphaltic concrete to repair our roads. We've also done a lot of road repair within the town of Mapen. Aim or a personal aim of the department is to improve the road network in and around the town center. We've started with Fernley Avenue and Bryant's Crescent, Love Lane, and we recently did Convent Avenue and another section of Fernley. So we aim on trying to complete as much roads to improve the circulation around the town to keep most of the traffic off Main Street.
All right. How long is 18 kilometers traveling along the Bustamante Highway, for example? Yeah, so we can have a better appreciation of what that scope of work
18
looks like.
Bustamante between Maypen and probably Longville Park, roughly 1 hour.
Maybe into Longville Park.
Yes, somewhere roughly there.
Okay, which would work out to maybe Maypen to Old Harbor.
No, no, not that far.
Not that
Not
far?
all the way to Ola. No. Freetown or Longville Park Road, that's about 18 kilometers.
Okay. Oh,
Mhm.
I need some more money. That's not much.
Yes.
That's not much compared to
Because
what we have.
with the yes, because all right. A lot of what we do depends on the price of the materials. With the increase in gas prices, we use asphaltic concrete or tar. That is tied to gas, fuel. So as the price of fuel increases, so does the cost of the material to actually do the work. And also the cost of the equipment to do the work because it costs more money to put gas in these equipment. The cost for transportation also increases. So everything adds back into the cost for the project.
Indeed. And there's something that really needs to be considered in terms of drainage simultaneously to keep the water off the road. That's very important.
Yes, it is. We normally shape our roads to ensure that the water comes off as far. Even if we do not have enough funding to put in the required drainage system, we normally shape our roads or to ensure that the water comes off the road as quick as possible, so as not to scour the roadway.
Yeah. That's true, Ramona. The condition of the roadway network around the town center is pretty good condition in comparison to other parish capitals. That's really true. A lot of work has been done around there. We should probably extend the budget and give the municipal corporation all the roads so we'd have
Yes,
less.
please lobby for that.
Because I've seen some videos circulating with those roads in northern Clarendon, and they're not looking very good at all.
Hilly areas, yes.
Right, with the
Due
land
to the terrain,
slippage.
yes, due to the terrain, those
Right,
areas get hit really hard when it comes to like rainfalls. It's really bad out there. Sometimes even with the soil type,
right.
yeah,
Is would some of those would actually be among the parochial roads? I know not
yes.
all of them.
Not all of them. The main thoroughfare leading to the northern section of the parish. Well, as Mr. Blake explained, they have
Yeah.
um, main roads, which are NAA roads, and the minor roads would be parish council roads. But
Okay.
I do believe the parish council roads are in much better conditions though than the main roads.
That's what I'm saying. This probably top up the budget for the so you can take care of something seems to be going on there. All right. That's a conversation for another department. Construction of a water shop in Penance. Tell us
Yes,
about this one.
this was a project coming out of the Ministry of Local Government, with an aim to ensure that the residents in the hills who have issues accessing potable water have access to water. So we truck water to this site twice per week to ensure that residents can come to this central location to get their potable water to take back to their homes rather than trucking house to house.
Okay. Awesome. Pre-residents will pay property taxes so you can get funds to do the work. That's right. All
Probably
right.
the a series with the property tax unit.
All right. Before we get to the that one, is the water shop the first of its kind anywhere in Jamaica?
I think that was the first one in Jamaica. That was the pilot, yes. But they have since then. I think the ministry has done some in Manchester and other parishes, but this was the first one, I believe.
Go Clarendon. Construction of indigent housing, Four
And
Paths, Palmer's Cross, and Crofts Hill.
yes, this was also a first for Jamaica under the Ministry of Local Government. This is just one of the buildings, but we did some concrete structures in Palmer's Cross and Crofts Hill, coming out of a project under the from the Ministry of Local Government.
Okay.
Mhm.
Were these in response to specific residents?
Yes.
Okay. And anything to do with the poor relief department, coming out of the poor relief department?
Well, and all right. Yes, it came through because most of these persons are registered poor with the poor relief department. So they would recommend persons based on their conditions they're living in, and we will normally go in do the assessment. Once they have suitable land to construct the houses, we do the design, prepare the estimates, and carry out the construction.
Okay. And I would imagine that they need to have proof of ownership of those land.
Yes, that's a requirement.
All right, all right. And I'm pretty sure we have poor relief department on the list of departments to have a discussion with. So you want to stay tuned as we get into more about the poor relief department and what exactly it is that they do. Sanitary convenience, Salt River, Chapelton, and Suttons. Looks
Yes, this is
good.
a yes. This one was out of a program from TPDCO. I'll speak more on it later with regards to the redevelopment of the Salt River Spa. We did some at the Chapelton Cemetery, Pennant Cemetery, and the Sun Cemetery. We recently completed those for persons who use these facilities to have suitable convenience for when they're in use.
Okay, awesome. Resource homework centers. I love this one, Frankfield and Riches.
Yes. From time to time, members of parliament would engage agencies such as TPDCO and use their CDF to carry out these projects. They normally engage the road and works, the parish council, to the road and works department to inspect the sites, do the designs. We actually do the designs here, do the prepare the bill of quantities, and monitor our procure services to have these buildings erected.
All
So
right.
the reaches was done through TPDCO, and the Frankfield Resource Center and Homework Center was done through CDF and TPDCO.
Right. Because the
But both
municipal
projects,
corporation, yes, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Or I was about to
Both
say
projects
that the
were
municipal,
done by
yes, the municipal corporation is always looking out for funding to take on these
yes.
innovative first mover projects. As Ramona is saying, that the Clarendon Municipal Corporation is indeed a pioneering and resourceful organization. Oh, yes, for those who are part of the discussions that's going on, you know that a lot of work goes into that, identifying resources. Catchment tanks, where are these?
Okay. These one is a catchment tank. The other one is actually a tank leading from an M tomb spring. These are one is in I think John's Hall and the other one is in Rock River.
Okay, beautiful. All right, let's talk about the
Yes.
redevelopment of the Salt River Mineral.
Yes, this is one of our more recent projects. It's actually still ongoing. With in collaboration with the tourism TPD. Um, the corporation has leased the section of the land from SCJ, and is carrying out the redevelopment of this park, putting in an access road and a parking area. We've completed the construction of our bathroom facility in the area, and a shop. But we intend on constructing additional shops and kind of giving the area a little bit more, I call it pizzazz. Increase the face, give it a face.
Modernizing the look.
Yes,
Yeah. And
giving
when you
it
said
a little
SCJ,
facelift.
that's Sugar Corporation of Jamaica?
Yes, we leased
Okay.
the property was leased from them. So we're
Okay.
still in the development stage. There's a lot of work to do down there. The vendors are cooperating with us, and
Beautiful.
at the end, we should have a really good facility to benefit the parish.
And that's the ultimate objective.
Yes,
That is the ultimate objective. That's right, Ava. Clarendon Municipal Corporation leading the way with several firsts. One thing, CMC has a good track record with projects. That's so true. A lot of projects, and this is not even, we haven't even scratched the iceberg here with these little
there's a lot.
pictures that are here. So we're gonna have to highlight some more of what's happening. So we can see some of the good stuff that's happening in Clarendon. Yeah, this is a space where we highlight the positive things that are taking place in Clarendon so we can focus on pulling more of the positive energy so we can get more done. All right. All right. So, what are some of the ongoing projects that the department is
Department.
working on?
Separate and apart from our core functions, we're currently updating our parochial road schedule. Um, we're going into communities, going into the parish, identifying parochial roads, existing parochial roads that have been abandoned, taking them off our list and incorporating those like farm roads or minor roads that due to development over time, more persons live along these roadways and require the service of the corporation. So we're adding those to our list and removing those that are no longer relevant. We're also working on creating a GIS database of all our physical infrastructure. This includes roads and drains, where we go out and map the conditions of all the roadways, the parochial roadways and drains in the parish, um, stating the conditions of these roadways and preparing costings to rehabilitate these roadways and drains and have them in our database system so we can make more informed decisions as it relates to rehabilitation. A long-term aim of this initiative is to have a platform where citizens of the parish can go on the online GIS platform and click on a road. You can see the length of the road, see the condition the road is in, and identify at that time how much it would cost to rehabilitate that road. So that is where we're going with the department and the management of the infrastructure within the parish.
All right. Telling you, Clarendon is on the move. And there are, as we were sharing before we came live, there's so many developments taking place in Clarendon. And as Clarendonians, if we're not careful, we will miss out on a lot of these opportunities that are staring us in the face. Just stay focused, look for the opportunities, and capitalize on them as much as you can. All right. Question coming in. Does the municipal corporation's responsibility in relation to traffic management extend to pedestrian traffic? Are you getting that one? I'm not so clear on
Yes,
this, Ramona.
that's the CMC responsibility. Traffic management, pedestrian traffic. Yes, in a sense. We've done some work in that manner. All right. For example, in Maypen Town Center, we've done some work on the sidewalks recently, making them wheelchair accessible. Um, We even have a program coming on stream, I think, soon, where we do more rehabilitation work to the sidewalks in the town to encourage persons to use them and not veer off into traffic. We've done work in the town where we've installed barriers along Sevens Road and Council Street to encourage persons to use the sidewalks and not necessarily veer off into the roadways.
We have a lot of resocializing to do in that regards. Because even
Mm-hmm.
though those are there, the vehicles are still competing for space on the roadways.
Realize.
Yes, so it's a lot of resocializing that needs to take place. But if New York could do it, why not Clarendon?
True.
Can be done. All right. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Sir Watson, for
Hmm.
all this good information. And know that there's a lot more that you'd want to share, but you have
Yeah.
to speak with CEO to see if we're going to extend if
Well,
we're going to be extending the program to have more updates coming in from the different departments as we continue. Right.
mhm.
So we're going to be looking at another department next month because we have separate departments to look at up to December of this year. So we'll continue the discussions and continue to bring updates. And on the that note of updates, we had the Mr. Brown on, I think it was the second or third episode in this series, sharing about the budget and that there is, in fact, an opportunity for the public to be a part of the public consultation on the annual budget. And that is coming up on September 29th. That's Thursday, September 29th, 4 p.m. And that's going to be Spalding United Church Hall. So let me share with you so you can get the additional details. All right. So for those who'll be watching the replay, you'd see that clip right there. So the annual budget public consultation comes up at the Spalding United Church Hall on Thursday, September 29th at 4 p.m. with the Municipal Corporation. And I'm sure that others of us will get an opportunity to engage later on to make our voices heard as to how we want to see the allocations done, if we are okay with what is being proposed or we want to make additional suggestions. So budget allocations and the plans for 2023 to 2024. So you want to stay tuned for that so you can be a part of the process. All right. Will the consultation be streamed? Excellent last year. Okay. We'll check that out. Awesome. Ramona is thanking you for your presentation, Clevon.
You're welcome, Ramona.
Great job. Yeah, that's what happens when you know your work. And if you notice, Clevon has been using parish council throughout. He has dated himself. He has been he has been there since parish council.
Yes.
Right. So thank you again, Clevon. And thank you all who were
Thanks
able
for
to
having
tune
me.
in live. Pleasure. Right. For those of you who were able to tune in live and be a part of this live discussion, you really added value to our here. And for those who will be watching the replay, feel free to drop your question, your comments as you share with us. And we continue to share. We'll take the questions, concerns, and address them in upcoming episodes. Thanks again. It's always a pleasure sharing space with you here. Look out on the social media platform, the Serenity Resource Connector IG page, Facebook page, for excerpts from last month's discussion on the whole matter of disaster preparedness. Please continue to stay safe as we weather the storm. All right. God bless you and have a great night.